Hello friends, and slash or enemies. Today, to the surprise of no one, we will be looking at another Mythic Legion figure. This is one I kind of wanted when it first came out, but I decided not to get it. I saw it again at a convention and it was really expensive, wanted it there, still didn't get it because it was just too much money. And then at some point, Four Horsemen had an in-stock sale and this was available, and so I got it. This is Vallak, some sort of vampire hunter guy. As in, he is a vampire who is also a hunter. He's not a vampire hunter, though I suppose he could hunt vampires if he wanted. So yeah, that in-stock sale was a while ago, and I've just had it sitting around since then. I try to cover more recent releases, and that means that sometimes some figures get pushed to the wayside, and it's a while before I open them. But I get around to them eventually. So let's take a look at packaging. It's pretty standard Mythic Legion's packaging. Just got that nice big window in the front, a little blurb on the side. He is part of the Illithia wave, so we've got Illithia in the back. As I've said before, the nice thing about this packaging is that you really can just slip out this cardboard in the back. Oh. And you make a bit of a mess of things if you don't do it correctly. But yeah, you have everything there, and then if you want to repack him and just like slip that cardboard back in, leaves all the packaging intact, you can do what you want with it. So if you watched my last review, which was the American Werewolf in London Kessler Wolf, you will be aware that in the battle between werewolves and vampires, I am Team Werewolf. I don't have any particular predilection toward vampires. But this guy in particular, I don't know, something about him I really like. He comes with a bird, which we'll get to. If you come with a bird, I automatically like you 5% more. There's just something charming about a bird. Cool thing about this guy is that, I mean, aside from his face, there's not much else that's very vampire-y about him, so he's one you could easily mix and match and make him into a human character. Alright, before I go any farther with this figure, I wanted to let you guys know that we will be at DesignerCon in Las Vegas the weekend of November 15th, I think? Yeah, it's November 15th through 17th. We will be there. We'll have our own booth. We're selling art and sculptures, so if you happen to be in Las Vegas, if you happen to be going to DesignerCon, look for us. We'll be there. There's going to be some toy companies there, so I'm excited to check it out. I really hope that it is a successful show. I think we're going to have a blast. So we'll post more about that on Instagram and the YouTube community notes the closer it gets to the event. And who knows, maybe we'll see some of you there. Alright, let's look at this guy. He has a fabric cape that is meant to go on him. I'm going to keep it off for the moment just to better look at the figure and articulation. Then we'll put it on him. The cloak and the head are one. There's no removing the head from the cloak, nor the cloak from the head. It is one piece. He's got a square head in there. So if you were hoping for an alternate look, there's not really going to be one with this guy, except for maybe cape on or cape off. And it looks kind of silly with just the purple hood. I'm pretty ambivalent toward vampires, but I think the reason I wanted this one is mainly the outfit and the bird. I like that bird. I know that there's a human hunter character that comes with a bird, but something about a vampire having a bird is just, it just hits different. Of course, you've got a fantastic face sculpt with some great paint, some really gnarly pink paint around the fleshier bits of the face. I really love this outfit. Now, I haven't heated him up, and you should always heat your figures up, especially Mythic Legions. But I messed around with him a little bit, and I don't think he particularly needs it. I mean, I've been moving his joints just fine. They're a little ponderous, but other than that, they're moving very well, and I'm not stressing any of them. I'm making sure not to force it. I mean, as you can see, the usual Four Horsemen articulation, which is not bad, but I think it's a little bit basic for some people. When there's good articulation on any figure, I'm impressed, but it's not a deal breaker for me, really. If the figure looks awesome and has an awesome design, then I don't mind it being a little bit more limited. But you're looking at classic Four Horsemen articulation with this guy. And as you can see, as I'm moving him around, or at least I hope you can see, the clothing sculpt on this is fantastic. You get these great wrinkles in the pants and some really nice pant texture. Leather texture on this armor piece. A crazy intricate belt. I rarely find paint mistakes on Mythic Legions, but there is a little bit of brown on this purple pouch. Though I will say, I do like how he color coordinated these pouches with his cloak. It's very, very stylish. And the shiny black on these boots and gauntlets is awesome. It's just crazy. It's like that texture is still there, but there's also the added glossiness that makes it look just like extra cool. So yeah, not much to write home about as far as articulation goes, but we expected that. So he does come with accessories, as most of these things do. It wouldn't be a Mythic Legions figure if we didn't get pauldrons. They're that same textured glossy black, and usually this is the part that definitely requires heating up of the figure. Alright, these are going in okay without heat. Alright, color me surprised. Usually these are pretty difficult to get in without some kind of heat being applied, but they went in pretty well this time and they look pretty good. I wasn't really sold on the pauldrons until I actually got them in. And at first this cloak piece wanted to float around a little bit, but you just squish it down and the pauldrons will go down with it and it looks pretty good. I was thinking I wouldn't be able to have both, that I just have to have one or the other, but here they are with both and it looks good. So you also get a quiver and a single arrow. I also like the color matching with this. The arrow's fletching is purple, which is very fun. It's like a metallic purple. Of course you get a bow, because where there are arrows, there must be bows. This one is like an onyx black. It's got kind of a brown drawstring, but that is real string. This is also light plastic, which is great, but it feels a little fragile. So be careful with that. He will come with a sword and a scabbard. The scabbard is a little bit plain. The sword is a little bit more decorated. You've got some red wraps on the hilt. I kind of wish that they were purple to go with the rest of his outfit. But just like with the quiver, there's a hook in the back so you can hook it onto his belt. This is the fabric goods cape. Oh, interesting. That's interesting. I don't really know how you're meant to put this on. I guess I should have put this on before I put the pauldrons in. Alright, so I folded the cape in half and just doubled up those holes and then slipped the pauldrons back through them. And that worked pretty well. So you've got a doubled up cape, but it's a lot more manageable. There's less fabric to mess with, more mass. This plastic piece that's meant to be the top of the cape is a little awkward though. It just kind of floats around. It's okay if you press it down flush against all these other pieces, but if you start moving his arms and head around, it might look a little awkward. The fabric itself is not the same shade of purple as the plastic, but that is understandable. It is extremely hard to match material types. I'm one of those weirdos who can see differences in color really well, so this is very obviously not the same color to me, but it still does not bother me. It's close enough, and like I said, it's difficult to match material colors when you've got different materials. Alright, lastly but not leastly is this bird. I am so excited about this bird in its own protective case. I should mention that the bird has its own name as well. Its name is Cinder. It's wearing a falconry hood. I do kind of wish we had the option for an unhooded head. Like we could just pop off this neck and head and have a new one where its face is free. But I mean, we're already getting a lot with this figure, so that's understandable. And it is static. It is glued down to this gauntlet. The wings aren't articulated. The head, I think, is a little bit, yeah, it's a little articulated. It can just go back and forth. But that's all you're getting. This is mostly just a set piece, basically. Just a really nice accessory. Basically just slip it on top of his gauntlet already. Put his... Oop. He's slipping, no! Okay, finally got it in. It does take a little bit of effort because this, the bird piece keeps wanting to fall out. And it also has the problem of wanting to roll over if his arm is at a particular angle that's not basically straight up and down. So yeah, the bird is a really cool accessory, but it might be a little more trouble than it's worth if you aren't really into the bird in the first place. One more criticism about the bird, and I don't want you to think that I dislike the bird, because I love the bird, but I would say I would love it if this bird was like kind of more overtly evil. Is that a weird thing to say? I kind of want it to be more otherworldly, like a monster bird. I mean, it's cool that he's got a bird. The bird looks great. I love it. It's beautiful. Look at these feathers. Just awesome. But it is just a normal bird, which is an interesting concept in itself, that this otherworldly, ancient, terrifying vampire person would have just a normal-ass bird. But what if it were a purple bird? Or a green bird? Or just had like a hint of the supernatural to it? I think that would be really fun. That said, it's not my place to criticize Cinder. I love Cinder. So, like I said, for these accessories, you can just slip them onto the belt. You could probably slip this over his body too, using just the bowstring to hold it up, but I already attached all this stuff and I don't really want to test that. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. So that works, but it does risk drawing out the bowstring a little bit because he's kind of a girthy figure. And I don't really want to do that. So let's remove that. So my plan is not to put this guy in any crazy poses. I just like him hanging out with this bird. He's hanging out with the bird. He's gonna send it somewhere. Send it to find his enemies, Illithia's enemies. And they look super cool together. What more could you ask for? Except for the things I already asked for. So here he is against Doc Nocturnal. And even though this is a Mezco, the scale here is not that bad. It's pretty well known that this version of Doc Nocturnal is a little kind of a lithe guy. And this could just be a tall, buff vampire. I think they would fit in really well together. Scale is all about how you perceive it. Here is the NECA, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Frankenstein's Bride, April O'Neil. And they scale pretty well together too. I think they would hang out. Maybe. Bringing in a Marvel Legend with the Deadpool and Wolverine. Again, really not bad if you just think of this guy as like a very tall and buff vampire. So to cap it all off, here is Vallak with another Mythic Legions figure, Varg. So this is a standard figure. This is like a dwarf-sized figure, so you can see he's a bit taller. And this is another vampire, so they look pretty good together. I'd recommend, if you're interested in this figure, going back and watching the review I did. That was a few reviews ago. It's a great figure, but very frustrating. And if you can see these spines on the wings on this side. There are no spines on this side. The wings were dropped. I won't say by who, but the spines on top shattered and basically were lost forever. So this wing has no spines anymore. And it's kind of a bummer because I really love this figure, but it is... The wings are brittle and it's a difficult figure. I won't complain about it again because I already did a review. But yeah, I love Vallak. He just looks really cool. It's a really cool design. It comes with some neat stuff. If you want a vampire with a bird, he's your guy. So don't forget, we will be at DesignerCon November 15th to 17th. I know chances are slim, but if you happen to be attending, give us a visit. And that'll be really neat. We will not be there as Weekly Allowance. We will be there as Cup Creations. And yeah, we'll just keep you guys updated on Instagram. So if you don't follow our Instagram page already, please go do that. It's just Weekly Allowance. You'll know it's us by all the toy photos. So as always, likes and subscribes are very much appreciated. Comments are more than welcome. And I will see you guys on the next one.